If we look at the developing world, entrepreneurship has been punted as a solution to joblessness, social inequality, and so on. Why would social entrepreneurship be good for entrepreneurs?
Entrepreneurship is every government's favourite means by which they grow economies. Everybody likes the idea that entrepreneurs create new entities that create new value, that create new jobs. It's not quite that simple. The poorest countries in the world have the most entrepreneurs. If the state fails you, and if your job is insecure, you're going to be an entrepreneur too. If you can't rely on your job and you can't rely on your government, you will also have a farm, or you'll also have a shop, or you'll also be doing something on your own account. And I think the interesting challenge in all of this is to see how that human ingenuity can be scaled to have real effects on systems and societies. And that means creating a greater level of ambition and definition of entrepreneurship.
The other side of the coin is entrepreneurs and business will argue that we do so much for social good by providing jobs, employment, and paying our taxes. Why should I add another dimension to my business?
Technology, new generations of consumers, more mobile staff, increasingly sophisticated and joined up regulation is going to impose on companies the necessity to account more accurately. They're not going spontaneously to say, well, let's do this overnight for the public good, but they will be nudged through regulation, legislation, taxation, consumer pressure into expressing more accurately the social harm and the social benefit that they create.
If I'm a CEO of a big global company, what's my starting point, and how do I make sure that the rest of the organization also buys into that?
Well, it depends, obviously, what you're the CEO of and what you care about. But my very simple prognosis would be, if you don't get your head around this, you will go bust. You are not serving your shareholders adequately if you deprive them of the innovations around these questions of social harm and social benefit. So they become the means to generate advantage rather than the means to pay off guilt or a feeling of responsibility.
We've seen different countries and different companies successfully implement social good into their business. Have you got some specific examples where it's worked to the advantage of that business or the geographies?
Some of the biggest companies in the world, Unilever being a prime example, Nestle being an example, of companies that take absolutely seriously questions about the sustainability of their supply chain, questions about the integrity of their relationships with their consumers. So we have a very, very long way to go. Nowhere near enough has changed, but I'm optimistic that we have ended the period of diagnosing the problem. Most of my life in this broad world of social entrepreneurship has involved diagnosing what is wrong with the system. What I hope is for the next 15 or 20 years, we start running experiments in how to fix some of these problems. As
an academic who's devoted a lot of time to social entrepreneurship, how do we make sure that that's what's taught in classrooms of business schools such as ourselves and where you've worked is also makes its way to boardrooms where the decisions are made?
What I would like to see is for social entrepreneurship to go away as a term and for us to resolve this question to that of entrepreneurship. And I would like the world's schools and universities to sensitize people who already get the social justice agenda to questions of business and to sensitize people who already get business to the questions of social justice.
We've recently seen the world economy is in a bit of turmoil. People are questioning business models, the way we run the world. How much of the social dimension is making its way into this discussion?
It's anybody's bet whether the cyclical nature of world economies favors or harms this alliance of business and social justice. There's an argument that says we do most when times are best. And there's an argument that says we are forced to do most when times are at their worst. I take a neutral position on this. World economies, particular businesses, national economies, operate in a connected and cyclical fashion. This question of how we best harness the principles and incentives of markets and market-like behaviors for public good has to run throughout the next several generations. It has to be independent of that cyclicality.
Stephan, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
And we wish you all the best.
Thank you.